Hello and welcome to the 12 days of Christmas inspiration and giveaways, day 2 with Uniko. I hope you enjoyed day 1, which was last Friday. There is still plenty of time for you to catch up and watch the video and enter the giveaway. You need to watch the video to find out what the giveaway is and how to enter. Anyway, back to today. So recently I did a poll on social media asking what you would like to see more of video wise from me, and along with Christmas, where the inspiration for this series of videos came from, was also backgrounds. If you know Uniko products well, or even if you've just looked a little bit, you'll see that I have quite a big range of background blocks. The idea behind these is I love pattern, and I also love making quick, clean and simple cards that contain pattern, and it sort of combined the two into these background blocks. So my card today uses this stamp here, which is excuse me, background blocks Scandinavian Christmas. You might recognise some of the images in this block. I'll bring it a little bit closer. We've got the dove from Peace on Earth. We have the bird, some branches and things from Rustic Christmas and also Rustic Wreath. We've got the snowflake from Big and Bold Snow. Some holly leaves that have appeared in some of our background builders, as well as the little Christmas tree. So I try and continue themes throughout the stamps and that I bring out, so that things will mix and match and coordinate with other things. And I'm using one of my go-to sentiment sets for Christmas cards, which is Simply Said Blocks Christmas. And this is the card that I am going to demonstrate today here. So I've actually heat embossed the block, which I'll get to shortly. It's just a lovely way of adding some shine and some detail. And then I just added the sentiment at the bottom. So we'll get to making the card. So I'm going to use my Misty. I have a mini Misty here. But any size will do. I'm just going to still, even though I've got magnets, I still add a little bit of removable self-adhesive there at the back. And I'm just going to secure it down with my magnets. And then I'm just going to place my block, trying to centralize it a little bit, so the top and the bottom. But to be honest, you could stamp it wherever you like. The idea is pattern, so you could have it down in the bottom corner, in the top corner, off to the side. This stamp is one of our older Christmas stamps, so there are quite a lot of samples using this block on our Pinterest page and our blog. So there's lots of ways you can use this. So I'm going to just use my anti-static powder thing. It's quite powdery, this one, so I just tend to dab it a little bit. And then I'm going to use Versamark ink to ink my block. So I love embossing. I don't use it as much as I could these days. Maybe it's just getting everything out. It's a bit of a longer process maybe than just inking and stamping. But I think it's a lovely technique to use for Christmas cards. So I've inked my stamp up well, and I'm just gonna apply a little bit of pressure. It's quite a detailed stamp, hence why I'm using my Misty. So if I feel it isn't completely inked, I can go ahead ink again and stamp again, and it's in the right position. I'll just go over again just to make sure. And then we get to the fun part. Well, it's all fun, isn't it? But this is, I suppose, where the magic happens. You could say the Christmas magic. So I treated myself to some Wow embossing powder. This one's by Funky Fossil Verdant. It's a lovely green with specks of gold, very Christmassy, so hence why I chose that one. Sometimes I just normally go for your normal metallics at Christmas, but I thought I'll just give this one a go. I love the look of them. It comes in a trio, and there's some beautiful purples in the collection, so go and check them out. So I'm just sprinkling the embossing powder over and tapping off the excess into my little tidy tray. So the reason why, if you haven't embossed before, you use the anti-static powder is just so the embossing powder doesn't stick to areas on your card where you might have sort of greasy fingers, or you know, where it'll just stick to the card a little bit where it's not supposed to, and you really want it to stick where the ink is mainly. There's a little area in here where it's stuck, but at the end of the day it's a handmade card, so if it doesn't come out perfect, it doesn't come out perfect. It shows that it's handmade and not mass made. So I'm just gonna heat set it now, and hopefully you will capture, the video will capture the magic of the heat embossing powder melting under the heat. It's just starting to turn. I don't think I've ever done a video where I've heat embossed before on a video, so this is new to me, so I hope you can see the magic happening. And I'll show you the beautiful detail of this embossing powder. So I'll just put that out of the way. So if you can see, it's a lovely green with flecks of gold in. Absolutely beautiful. So I'll just bring in my original card and I'll just hold the reds up together. If you can just about see that the outside of the block is a little bit more darker red, and the center is this actual red color. And what I did was, well, originally I did it the other way around. I did this part first and then heat embossed, but I decided, because I got some embossing powder where I didn't want it to, stuck to the ink blending that I did, that I would do it the other way around this time. So I've just picked up here Concord and 9th cranberry ink, and what I'm going to do is use my blending brushes just to go in from the outside and add a little bit of a darker shade, so you get this sort of like light shining in the middle of the background block, just to add a little bit of dimension and interest without too much fuss. So obviously your ink is wet, and if you did want to do it the other way around, you'd want to make sure that your ink is dry before then embossing the background block, which I didn't do on this, and it isn't terrible, but there's some little areas just where the embossing powder stuck to that I couldn't get off before heat embossing. So this doing it this way around just makes it a little bit sort of cleaner in my sort of eyes, in my clean and simple eyes. And I'm just going in from the edges. I've used, so this is Poppy cardstock from Concord and Ninth, and I'm just going in with the cranberry, a darker shade, just to add a bit of interest. It's quite a subtle addition to the card, you know, it's not overpowering. You could probably go in with a darker shade if you wanted to, but it just adds some subtle interest. So there, I've just about finished that. Put the lid back on my ink and move it away. And there you have it. I think you can just about see where some of the darker edges are. You could maybe go in with a sort of brown colour if you wanted them to be a little bit more defined. But you'll find once the ink dries that it sort of does go a little bit darker. And you just do that until you're happy. And I've pre-cut my base card, so I'm just going to use double-sided tape to secure it to my base card. I prefer using tape over wet glue because I find wet glue buckles the card a little bit. So that's why I use double-sided tape to secure my layers. I'm just peeling off the backs here. You could add a bit down the centre if you just want to make sure that you've got it secure onto your base. Now I always work on this grid paper, I just find it useful. I can just tear a piece off when it gets super messy, but I also like lining up my card with the grid so then I can place my layers really easily and make sure they're lined up. I'm just lining up with the grid here. And that's that part of the card. Now I'm going to stamp the sentiment. There's quite a lot of choices of sentiment in the background blocks. I can't remember where I left mine, but there's Let It Snow, Merry and Bright, Peace on Earth, Happy New Year, Peace, Love, Joy, Season's Greetings, Jingle Bells, 'Tis the Season, Happy Christmas and Ho Ho Ho. So lots of different choices there. I'm going to use Peace on Earth this time, and I'm going to centre it. I'm going to put it on my card a little bit different this time. I put it on the bottom of my first card. So for sentiments, I just tend to use a block rather than using my Misty. And I'm just going to stamp it in black ink because I want the sentiment to stand out a little bit from the blocked image. So in the past, a lot of people have said, oh, I've never had good results with these block sentiments. So I'm just going to, there's a little bit of fluff on there. People have said that they've had no luck with them before because when they put the ink on, it pulls inside where the sentiment is, and then when they stamp it, it doesn't come out very clear. And I've had that in the past as well. And one thing I did when I designed these stamps myself was to ensure that the wording on the stamp was a little bit thicker lined, so that when you stamped your sentiment, the ink didn't pool inside and obscure the sentiment. So it's very rare, unless your stamp is like, your ink pad is like super juicy, you will get a nice clear impression. And I think there was still a tiny hair on my sentiment there, so I've just gone in with a fine liner just to fill that bit in where the ink didn't sit. So I've used my VersaFine Clair Nocturne ink for this sentiment, and I'm just gonna leave a small border, fussy cut it out. It's quite an easy one to fussy cut with the straight edges. Often I don't leave a border, but I think when it is quite a clean and simple card, the border just adds another sort of layer really, without overpowering your clean and simple card. So while I'm just doing this, today's giveaway is the winner's choice of 3 background blocks. So that will total £18 in total, because these blocks are £6 each, which is good value for money. There's a lot of you can do with these background blocks. So the winner of this giveaway will win 3 of their choice. They don't have to be Christmas ones, they can be any of the background blocks that we have on the website. And to be in the chance of winning this giveaway, I'd like you to obviously comment and like this video. If possible, subscribe to Uniko if you haven't already. If you've already subscribed, fabulous. I will find a list of hopefully of those who have subscribed already. And if you see this card on social media, you can leave a comment there as well, and that will give you another entry into the giveaway. So I've just decided that I'd put the sentiment up here on this block here, and there are my 2 cards side by side. As you can see, the shading around the edge is just starting to sort of appear a little bit more. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed day 2 of the Christmas inspiration. I'm keeping it really simple, but I hope it helps you and inspires you to get cracking on your Christmas makes. Join me next Friday, for day 3, and hopefully I'll have incorporated another of the poll results, which was mid-century modern. So if you like our mid-century modern collection, be sure to stop back next week as well and see what I have up my sleeve for then. Thank you for watching, and see you soon.